This week on the Game Marks podcast, we play the arcade classic 3-Count Bout. Our deep dive covers everything there is to know about this Neo Geo game from 1993, including the roster, the brutal weapons, the gameplay, and the burning question. Will we play it forever? Woo! Or future endeavor?
You're fired!
Plug in, put on those nostalgia goggles, because this week's Game Marks podcast starts now.
And now, the Game Marks!
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast. My name is Johnny Clash.
And I am George Feast, and this week we are playing 3-Count Bout.
And as always, no.
What are you doing?
And as always, we love to hear from you guys, so please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and make sure to subscribe and rate this podcast wherever you choose to listen. And join the conversation on all social media at Game Marks Pod.
Johnny.
Georgie, you got me first.
Ooh, you nailed it. That was my goal this week, to get you first.
You're sniping. What's up, dude?
How are you, man? How's quarantine treating you?
I'm losing my mind, but it's okay.
Yeah, trying to stay busy as much as I can, just so I'm not.
I'm at the point where I'll watch like one episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and then I'll turn my PlayStation on. I'll play one game of NHL, then go back to Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, then turn my PlayStation on. Then I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore. Then I'll switch to Warzone for like a game, then I'll die, and I'll be like back to TV, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, there are worse problems to have, I guess, than trying to like occupy your own time. I mean, I guess there's a lot of things that you could, I don't know. Things could always be worse.
I mean, I don't think I've mentioned it here, but I started dabbling in making wrestling gear. I've been sending you some pictures of stuff I make. So I've been banging out a lot of trunks, practicing a little, getting pretty damn decent. I won't say good, getting decent at it.
I think they're good. I think you're selling yourself short.
Well, we'll see. You know, I got a few more things to finish before I make like the post saying open for business, but I'm enjoying it. It's definitely I call it a time warp because you start one pair of trunks, you're zoned in for like 5 hours. Next thing you know, it's like dinner time. You're like, oh my God. Okay.
Well, yeah, because, you know, people, especially those who aren't in the wrestling business, really probably don't know or understand how much goes into making gear. They probably just think, you know, you design it, you print out some fabric, and then that's that. But like, you know, I've seen a lot of the stuff that you've made, and like, first of all, I'm impressed. I think you're doing, like I said, I think you're doing a great job. But just seeing the stages that you go through, it's awesome to just see like the creative process and like how much actually goes into it. It gives you a better appreciation when you watch, you know, AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor, like how much effort goes into the gears.
Oh yeah, now my focus has shifted from watching the actual like wrestling to being like, oh, how'd they make that gear?
And it makes you think of like, you see regular gear, but then you think of like Ric Flair's robes. You're like, holy crap, that's there's like 10,000 sequins on his robes. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, so what have you been doing to keep busy? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 3. Been playing a lot of Rocket League. Been playing some Warzone.
You liking Warzone?
Yeah, I mean, so here's my problem. The Battle Royale market is so saturated. Every company has one, and it just feels like there's too much. But there's something about Warzone that feels different. Like it
because it's familiar. It's Call of Duty.
Yeah, it feels more like a Call of Duty than it does, say, like Ring of Elysium or PUBG, or I'm not even going to put Fortnite in there because I'm only trying to compare first-person ones, but like, you know, things like that. It feels, like you said, familiar, different, but still...
Plus, I love the Gulag. That is the best feature they've ever included. I don't know if it's in a previous version, or I know they've had a Battle Royale before this.
I'm like 10 and 2 in Gulags. Yeah,
I mean, I just don't move when the game starts, and I just wait to see the guy, and I smoke him, and then I shoot him.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan. Maybe we'll play a round or two of that on our...
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of... I actually enjoy the solo more than the multiplayer, I guess, because it's more like strategic. Like you could just camp out, wait for a guy, snipe him.
Yeah.
I haven't had a win yet, but I've gotten like top 5.
Yeah.
But other than that, you can go into practice mode, and it's just you versus 25 bots in the quarry. And, I mean, if you want to pass the time, play that a couple times.
Work on your shot. Work on your drop.
Yeah.
Learn the weapons. Find your best loadout.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. But how about what we played last week, John? WCW Wrestling for the NES. How are you feeling?
It didn't feel like an NES game to me. I think because it was more than we're used to for NES games.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
More moves, the character models, the sprites weren't perfect, but for what was it, 1990 or something?
Yeah, it was early 90s, but I mean,
for early 90s, it was it was pretty good.
It's not bad. The only thinking back, once I listened to the episode. Thinking back, there was one critique that I kind of wish that I had mentioned, and that's because we talk about the graphics, the audio, the crowd, everything. The only thing that I really kind of was bugged out by was the single player. It's kind of, I get it, it's for the time, the repetitiveness of it.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
But that's to be expected with the time, so I kind of just let that fly. But I felt like I at least should have mentioned it. But still sticking with it, still playing it forever. Love the game. Thought it was great. Can't wait to play it again.
Mm-hmm. Agree. And a lot of the feedback we got on our Clash at the Feast YouTube video, which if you haven't seen it yet, head on over to YouTube, give us a little subski, and check it out. We have a lot of stuff on there. But a lot of people are saying, like, Ric Flair's tights, Sting's tights were a little awkward to look at. Yeah, but kind of just gotta look past it.
Yeah, and there's one very easy fix that could have been made to counteract that, where, if you just make that second half of the trunks the same color as, like, the flesh, like the skin, you have you have his regular trunks.
Whatever.
That's an easy color swap. It's just changing the color on the palette.
You get what you get, But anyway, listen, we hope everyone out there is feeling okay. We hope everyone's doing well in quarantine. If you haven't checked it out yet, we're doing a little free giveaway. You can win a Cody Rhodes autographed 8x10 just by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That's either just pressing the 5 stars or writing a comment, either or, screenshot it, send it to us, and you are entered. And on April 27th, hopefully we'll be, this flatten the curve will be a little on the decline by then, and we could send it out.
Yes. Obviously, everything going on, we will wait until there's a little bit of a better window, just because we don't want to be taking any chances. But like John said, hopefully everyone's doing well, staying safe, and making the best.
That's why I haven't sent out the headset yet to Frank Myers. Yeah. So if you're listening, Frank, it's coming, but I just don't want to ship that at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, before we get into it, George, have you watched Tiger King yet?
We actually just finished it right before we recorded. So it is fresh in my mind.
Yeah, we finished it last night. It's also fresh in my mind. Holy crap.
I
want his album.
I was just going to say, my biggest takeaway was the music.
Okay, but here's another takeaway. Did you know that he actually hosted 2 NWA events on his property? Where he did commentary?
I need a second to process that.
Yeah, I'll actually share the link on our Twitter page. So if you're listening, yesterday it was shared. So go back and check that out. But it is hilarious. It featured Charlie Haas. There's a picture that Robbie E posted where apparently they met each other in 2016. This guy, like, what are you? What is this guy?
Is this just what happens now? Is this just like... Is this... Quarantine happens and now we're like, Tiger King is everything? It's the new religion? We're worshipping...
Pretty much. Other than that...
Joe Exotic?
Did you watch Island at all?
No.
Okay. It had a good concept. It had a very like Stone Cold Condemned feel to it, like
Okay.
was trapped on the island. There was just some corniness to it that kind of ruined the whole thing for me. Not ruined. I wouldn't say ruined it. I did like it. It just could have been better. But there was some like digital aspects of it that could have looked better and been better story-wise. But if you haven't checked that out, it's only 7 parts also, 45 minutes each. Easy, bang through. We did it in one night. Don't tell anyone. It's a cool story. I think if they do a season 2, it could be a little better. But check that out.
My recommendation is if you guys have Hulu and you want to watch something that is only a half hour and is stupidly funny, Comedy Central apparently a couple of years ago released a show called Drunk History, which is...
Oh yeah, Creator Pro. I was on that.
You were on Drunk History.
There was a Creator Pro episode, yeah.
So
Did you not know this?
Wait.
Yeah, I skipped out of work that day. Me and Max Caster went there to be the extra jabrones in it. Pat Buck and Hawkins were there. They taught it was actually a full day, like 8 hours worth of filming, and then it turned into like a 5-minute, not even, maybe like a 2-minute part of the actual episode. Like we had a full match with Brian and Buck that they recorded for the show. And it never made it to the show because it was kind of like the little segment at the end where like he goes into Creative Pro, makes his character, and then gets beat up by Buck and Hawkins. But yeah, me and Max Caster at least make one scene.
I'll
find it. I'll post that too.
Okay, let me be fully transparent with you. That may be the biggest right turn that any conversation I've ever had has taken, because that is not the response I expected to that at all. I thought you were going to be like, oh yeah, I've seen it. I've watched a couple of episodes of that. And I'm like, I was on it. That's insane. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was like a really big production day, but it was like a 2-minute part of the episode.
All right. Wow.
It was us, I think Nikos Ricos, I want to say, and definitely Mario Bocara, because he was the guy that kind of mentored the host to be a wrestler throughout the episode.
That's awesome. All right, well, now I can't wait for that, so...
I'll find that and I'll post it up.
All right. Well, what do you say...
Anyway, I'm glad you're enjoying the show.
Yeah. All right, John, what do you say we get into a little bit of gaming news?
Let's do it.
What's up, Game Marks Podcast? This is Danny Tancredi, and I'm here with my brother Johnny Tancredi, and together we are the Cult Looking Podcast. Each week we bring to you the latest news and reviews on all things baseball collectibles. From baseball cards and memorabilia to bobbleheads and stadium giveaways, each episode will discuss the newest products to hit the shelves of your local card store and your favorite ballparks around the country. Be sure to be following us on Instagram at the Cult Looking Podcast and on Twitter at CultLookingBB. New episodes drop every Friday, so be sure to tune in wherever great podcasts like this one are available. The Cult Looking Podcast. Don't get caught looking, start collecting.
All right, so I want to do this a little differently this week. I want to be more conversational about it rather than roll my little news music and spit some facts.
Okay.
There's not much going on gaming news-wise. A lot of stuff has come to a halt because of the virus going around. A few games impacted right now are the delivery of Resident Evil 3. It's supposed to come out April 3rd. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know.
You waiting for that one?
I mean, I've played a couple of them. I'm not the biggest fan, but I know someone who is. Someone we've actually had on the show before. Bear Bronson.
Yeah.
Big fan of this series.
They could put them out digitally, but I think there are the people that like the hard copy. Actually, Kenny G the other day, he just got a PlayStation for like the first time since the original Xbox, I think, or maybe a 360. And he goes, man, I went to the store to get MLB and they were all sold out. I'm like, you could just buy it on your PlayStation, right? But yeah, we might not see Resident Evil 3 in stores for a while because do you remember stores? Wow, I don't remember stores at all.
Yeah. We braved the quarantine and went food shopping yesterday. That was
Yeah. I got to do that. Other than that, there's actually a Nintendo Switch shortage going on in the world right now. I think people stocked up on the Switch so they could have that portable console before all this happened. And even in this, I still didn't get it.
I have the Switch, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like that we're talking about the whole digital download thing. I feel like that's where it is utilized the best, because the cartridges itself for the console are only like little SD cards.
Little like DS cartridges?
No, they're small. It's literally like a camera SD card.
Huh.
Like what you would put in like your SLR camera. It's like that.
That's what I think Nintendo kind of have gotten criticized about, but that's something that when like PlayStation and Xbox took a certain path, they strayed away from that like realism, like super HD path just to set themselves apart. And it's like, it's worked. Rather than compete with those guys, they made their own.
Yeah. I agree. I'm 100% on board with that.
Okay, last one. Halo Infinite. It's being worked on remotely by 343 Industries. So imagine sitting home and just working on a video game, probably nonstop. No one to tell you to stop. No one tell you to go. These guys are probably working to the bone, working their asses off to get this game out in time remotely. I'm working remotely from home, and it's awful because I don't have like everything available to me. I can't go to the print shop and tell them what to do.
Yeah, it's you're out of your element. You're placed out of your working comfort zone.
I can't imagine doing a game from home, especially a Halo game.
So you're an Xbox guy. So
No.
I thought you had. I've never owned an Xbox. You owned an Xbox at some point.
Okay, I did. I own the original and a 360, but that's where I stopped.
Yeah. Okay. So you were at one point a 50-50 player, we'll say.
Yep.
I've never played Halo ever. Full stop.
I mean, it was on PC also. It is Microsoft.
I know, but I just never. Some people went.
Well, hey, if you ever want to go back, Halo 1, the first one, probably is the greatest game ever created.
Well, they're all
Halo
on
2,
Steam now, so I'm considering it now that I have all this free time to.
You should do it, especially for the story. I mean, Halo 2, I didn't enjoy as much, but I finished it. And Halo 3, I think I faded away like halfway through.
Okay.
Which, speaking of, one of my other gaming notes here is Xbox fans are arguing that Master Chief is the best character in gaming history.
So, here's the thing. And this actually...
I'm going to say one thing. Have the Xbox fans ever heard of a guy named Mario? Or Sonic?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean...
I don't know. I feel like that's a thing where whatever you grew up playing or whatever game you've put the most time into, that's where you form your opinions, and I'll leave it at that. There's really no wrong answer.
No, Master Chief is great, and he's up there with one of the best characters in gaming history. But I mean, the argument of Ricky Steamboat being the best wrestler in history is he's never been a heel. So how could you know if he's the best wrestler? Same thing with Master Chief. He's never been on a PlayStation. How do you know? He's pretty one-dimensional.
Well, so, you know what? Let's do this. I originally had a question of the week planned out, but I almost kind of like this debate. So, originally my question was going to be about like returns, like people's coming back. Like what in your head is like the wrestler return that you
Triple H 2002.
That was going to be my answer.
That's the only answer.
He was
or John Cena at the Royal Rumble.
That was number 2, and then my number 3 was going to be Jericho. The Save Us Y2J.
Which time?
Save Us Y2J.
Okay.
That was my number 3. But so if you want to answer that question, that's fine. That'll be like the second half of the question. But I actually kind of like this topic from gaming news of,
who's the best character in gaming history?
Or who is your most iconic character? Like who is the character that stands out the most for you?
Okay, we can do that.
So let's do this. Ready? Hold on. So we're gonna do. I'm gonna pause right now, and I'm gonna say this. You can leave all of this in. We're gonna say, "Hey, John, are you ready for the question of the week?"
Sure, George. Let's go.
Hey, George. Are you ready? I said, are you ready for our Pro Wrestling Tees store? Brace yourself because the Game Marks podcast is now on ProWrestlingTees.com, featuring multiple designs designed by us. Head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod today to either play it forever or future endeavor.
So let's talk about this, John. My question is, who for you is a character that stands out? Doesn't have to be the most popular opinion. What is a character? You can even do top 2 if that works. Top 3, whatever.
Top 2.
Top 2, top 3, whatever you want to do. Most iconic characters that stand out for you.
I mean, I've mentioned I'm a big Gears of War guy, so I got to go with Marcus Phoenix.
Okay.
Man, character. Joel from The Last of Us.
Okay.
Obviously, I think Joel and Ellie.
We'll say
both. I'm going to put them as one.
I'll say we'll keep them as one because they're from the same thing.
A third? I mean, I think I do have to say Master Chief.
Okay.
Very Xbox heavy there, but also see that I kind of contradict myself here because I have 2 Xbox exclusives and 2 PlayStation exclusives.
So you split yourself. You're fine.
Yeah, there's kind of no definitive answer anyway. So
yeah. So I'm gonna go Solid Snake. We'll just say Snake from Metal Gear Solid as a whole.
Okay.
We'll say, you're going to laugh at this one. I don't even know if you know who this is. Deckard Cain.
Sounds familiar.
He is he's the guy from the Diablo series.
Okay. I've dabbled. Haven't really jumped.
That was a big game in my childhood. And I think the last one, I think I'm going to go AKI THQ, man.
All right. I know. I was thinking about like wrestling games. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you go Baron Blade.
Because if you think about it, putting him in there, it covers the whole series. Because there's some variant of him in every game. So
that's true.
Those are my top 3.
Okay, I could dig it.
And then as always, guys, I'm gonna present this question to you. You can answer either one. You can answer your favorite wrestling return, or you can answer your top 3 most iconic video game characters that stand out for you personally. Obviously, everyone knows the big ones. You're gonna obviously have Mario. You're gonna have Sonic. Somewhere's like Kirby and Luigi and Yoshi and Peach and all there. Like the big Nintendo, Sega ones are fine. Everyone knows those, but we want to know yours personal ones.
Yep, and head on over to our social media to see last week's answers to what wrestler's second entrance theme is better than the original. Also, I want to say, top return for me personally, Undertaker's return before WrestleMania 20, when he would just mess with Kane.
Ooh, I like that. That's
but
a good
with
one
that,
too.
Georgie, are you ready for our hashtag deep dive of 3 Count Bout?
Did I cut you off with something about the gaming news before? Did you want to?
You did.
Do you want to?
did.
You want to just like circle back real quick and talk about that?
Okay, so
All right, cool.
you're an Animal Crossing guy, kind of, or at least your wife is.
Yeah. Full disclosure, haven't gone and gotten it yet because trying to go out as little as possible.
Agreed. I played the one for the Wii.
Okay.
Didn't really know what was happening, but I played it for a little bit. I think I mentioned that last week. PETA, the people against ethical treatment of animals, whatever, as seen on Tiger King.
They're not against.
Whatever. I don't. People something for
it's people
animals.
for the ethical treatment of animals.
Yeah,
they're not against it.
Whatever. That's what I said. They put out a vegan guide for Animal Crossing on where to find, like, how to live as a vegan in the game. Now,
is there a trophy?
I'm not a vegan. I know you are not a vegan. However, you do cut out certain meats.
Yes.
Does it matter? It's a video game.
So here's the only way that I could see this happening is if you are a full-on 100% completionist, need all the trophies and all that stuff, and there is an option for this, then yeah, I see the appeal of doing it. If there's a challenge and you get something for it, or if like you get like a little trophy or something, that's fine. But if you're just gonna do it because of your beliefs, that's also fine. But if you're just doing, like, if PETA just does this to get on the video game train, then there's no point.
I think that's honestly what's happening, because they are being mocked left and right for it.
There's no point. If it doesn't do anything to alter or change or benefit the gameplay in any way, then I don't really understand.
It could be a challenge, survive not catching fish all day.
Yeah, well, there's people that do like crazy challenges in every game. There's people who do, I think it's called the Nuzlocke challenge for like all the Pokemon games, which is you can only battle with the 6 Pokemon you have, and once a Pokemon faints, you have to release it.
Okay.
And like that's like, it doesn't matter if you have like level 75 Charizard, if that thing dies to a Weedle, you got to release it. Like, and it's
yeah, okay.
Things that make the game more challenging, I'm all for, but this doesn't seem to be the case.
No. But anyway, enough of that.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go back, all right? It's time. It's time for our hashtag deep dive. Are you looking to get a better grip on life? How about your video games? Well, VGF Gamers are the largest silicone gaming brand in the USA. They have a variety of different and unique skins for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One controllers and consoles. Check out their products at vgfgamers.com and use code GameMarks to receive 15% off your order at checkout. That's GAMEMARKS at checkout. VGF Gamers. Better grip, better style. So, 3 Count Bout. Released April 23rd, 1993 for the Neo Geo AES, and April 21st, 1995 for the Neo Geo CD. And this game is known as Fire Suplex in Japan, which I actually kind of think of as a cooler name. Yep. I don't know. There's just something about that combination of words makes it pretty badass. And like we said, it was the AES.
Tell us about the Neo Geo.
So, I mean, the Neo Geo is an arcade cabinet. It's the AES is the arcade arcade entertainment system, and the Neo Geo CD was the home port of it. It was just like a home console version. Now,
so it's a cartridge-based arcade system board, right?
Yeah, so like John said, this is a cartridge-based arcade system board, and it's a fairly standard. You can Google pictures of what this arcade cabinet looks like. 1993 Neo Geo AES cabinet. It's fairly standard. The poster that we have pulled up. Ready for this? 2 stereo speakers, John. 2.
2?
2.
So you're saying for stereo you need 2 speakers?
Unbelievable. The height.
Unheard of.
The height of luxury. Ready for this one? This is going to blow your mind. A 25-inch horizontal monitor. It's huge. It's a massive, massive, massive screen. Now,
mine's only 19.
this was kind of cool, and this was something that was around for a little bit with arcade cabinets, kind of went away, and now for some reason is like making a comeback. It has slots for memory cards. So you can track your progress and save your progress. And there was a period where this was very popular in the 90s. Then it went away, and then it came back in like the early 2000s with cards. So you would have like these little cards, and your data would be stored based off the ID number or the barcode that was on your card. And then you would just like kind of put your card in, it would scan it, you would load up your progress, and then that kind of went away again. And now we're back to this kind of memory card, thumb drive, stick style technology coming back in arcade games. I was at, I don't know, Dave & Buster's or something a couple of months ago, and a couple of the games had that. So it's nice to see like these trends that like go away and come back in arcade cabinets.
Yeah, that's not one I expected to come back. I'm used to like the Tokyo Drift game, like at a Dave & Buster's where you just punch in your code.
Yeah. I mean, this is just like a different style of that, or that was a different style of this. Like that was the next. What's the word that I'm looking for? Like the next iteration, the next generation was punching in the code.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, but this game, developed by SNK, published by SNK, D4 Enterprise for the Virtual Console, and Hamster Corporation for the PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. And I gotta tell you, if you find this on the Virtual Consoles, I think you should get it. I think it's a fun game, but we'll get into that a little later.
Yeah.
So John, I'm gonna give you the choice here. Would you like to talk about the gameplay, or would you like to dissect this artwork a little bit?
Let's get into the artwork a little bit because we have 2 different covers here. We have the 3-count bout and we have the fire suplex cover.
Okay, so which would you like to do first?
Let's go with the fire suplex because it's freaking awesome.
All right, so take us through.
Pull up your Google machine, put in fire suplex or, 3-count bout, fire suplex artwork. This is great. I mean, the logo is cool. It's the same logo as a 3-count bout. I like how this is more illustrated than the 3-count bout. Like you can tell that they tried to make that one look a little more realistic, whereas this one, you have the guys inside the letters for fire suplex and the big logo behind it. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, this is cool. The Neo Geo logo is also, I think, cool and also horrifying at points, just because like
it is a little scary.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very fun. You definitely know that it's like a gaming console or like something like some kind of entertainment thing, but it's just like the face for Geo is very horrifying. So
yeah, agreed.
Fire suplex, 10 Warriors of the Ring. Who is World Wrestling Champion? And then do you want to see if you can get your Google Translate to work on that little copy on the
It's
bottom?
very small, but I'm assuming it says exactly what you just read.
I mean, yeah, that's probably right. Probably right.
Let's shift on over to the 3-count bout cover now. Can you survive the ultimate battle? And it's got the top 3 guys up there. We have who's that? That is Red Dragon, Terry Rogers, and Roy Wilson up top. And then the rest of the characters underneath posing, very Street Fighter-like, very, very Wrestle War-like. So we could definitely see a trend in these arcade games and their depiction.
I mean, there definitely was like a set kind of style for arcade artwork and arcade style graphics and stuff like this.
I like it. It shows what it is.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the logo, I guess. I think the treatment is interesting. It feels like, I think that's the thing that screams like arcade style video game to me the most, is that logo.
Yeah, I mean, if only there was a company later that kind of took that logo style.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe with the word fire in it, but it's fine.
We'll see. We'll get to that maybe later. Maybe that's something that we play on our live stream, which, by the way, John, did you hear that we're doing a live stream?
I did, because Limp Bizkit told me in
Oh.
our video we posted.
Are you going to do it your way?
Or the highway.
All right, cool.
But the live stream that we have been talking about since Gamebury ended in January is finally happening. It is happening both days of WrestleMania at 11 a.m. So before you get to watch the empty arena match over and over again, head on over to our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/GameMarksPod. George has been working very hard to make that look pretty. So join us. Let's try to raise some more money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And, provide you guys with some sort of entertainment during a quarantine.
I'm going to make Johnny play Fire Pro Wrestling for 3.5 hours, so that's pretty much
If we
my
raise
plan.
money, I'll play it if we raise money.
All right, John, I think it's time we get into this gameplay.
Take us through.
All right, so very standard arcade-style gameplay. You have your 4 buttons. You have your A button, your B button, your C button, and then if you're playing on the home console, you had a 4th button, which was your D button. All right. What did you feel did you feel like this was more of an arcade style control wise, or did you feel like this was more like home console wrestling?
Yeah, definitely more arcade style. I will say I played it on a keyboard. So it was more arcadey, I guess, because I was tapping buttons like like an arcade cabinet. It was very hard, I thought, to slide over to the next key to button mash to get out of a pin or to do a hold or pin or anything, because if you're tapping say on the F key and you got to go over to the A key, you're already pinned for a 2 count.
Yeah. This
So
to me
maybe
screamed,
console's a little easier?
This screamed arcade to me. And what we played was the arcade version. That being said, I may look into getting this on my PlayStation just because it would make playing this in the future a whole lot easier.
It's only $7.99.
Yeah, you know what? It's not bad.
No.
So running
a lot more features than a Wrestle War key wise.
Yeah, so
each button does a lot more.
Yeah, so you have your standard punch and kick and jump button, which was nice. It's always cool to have a jump button in a video game. We've definitely played some arcade style games that didn't have a jump button, and that was very frustrating. Now, running, this is probably the thing that made me feel most arcadey, is just because it's not like a button that you press to run, and it's not like a button combination. It's just if you hit the joystick twice in any direction, or if you tap your directional key in any direction, you run. And you run really fast. Obscenely fast. There's no reason that the sprite should move across the screen this fast. It's almost hard to control.
It was also unlike the other games where if you're the one that initiates the run, usually, or the Irish whip, then you're the one that does the move. If you get Irish whipped, you could come off with a kick or something.
Yeah, it was different. It was a nice change. It felt, I almost feel stupid saying this, but it felt almost a little more of a realistic side. That's how things would work in actual wrestling. It's not just because you threw me, I can't come back with something.
Yeah, I guess. But a lot of options for the buttons and a lot of button mashing to get out of holds or to do moves or, the same thing we've seen the past few games we played. Lock up, button mash to see who, like the tug of war to see who gets to hold on.
Yeah, and in terms of features, I guess, I mean, if you want to call it that, your taunt button is also your pin button, and yeah, there's also
that didn't really work too well for me.
You walk over to your opponent and you're like, I'm gonna go for the pin right now, and all of a sudden your guy's doing a taunt, and then before you finish your taunt, your opponent's back up, and that definitely changes the tide of the match for some in some cases.
Does it, George?
Yes, it does. That being said, I know that we didn't come across it. They didn't really seem to be finishers.
No, but there are just like high impact moves. Your stamina bar goes down really fast because it's an arcade. But there you pulled out like a Liger Bomb and a Hurricane Rana just out of nowhere, just from a grapple.
I think it was Roy Wilson has that Zangief bomb from Street Fighter.
Yes,
which was cool, a nice little throwback. And then in terms of game modes, if you want to call that, I mean, depending on the character you pick is what title you go for in the single player mode, but that really is kind of it for the single player mode. In terms of multiplayer, there's a lot.
There was a lot. We had fun.
So you can do your standard title match, which is just depending on the characters that you pick, is the title that you go for. There is Street Match 1. There is Street Match 2, which is the same thing. You just kind of battle in a parking garage or a back lot or something like that. So you go back and forth, and you have these matches, and obviously the first person to stay down for a 10 count is the loser, and then you move over to the death match. And John,
let's go through all these real quick. So the title match, it's in the ring. You get these grand entrances from each side. You flip over the guardrail. You're actually wearing like custom ring gear. You throw that off. The ring announcer announces you. There's a cameraman that moves outside the ring. There's a photographer outside the ring. The crowd's animated. There's streamers on the ground. This looks great. Like I said, the matches are quick. So the title match could be 3 minutes, which I think, give or take, that's what most of our matches were.
Yeah, they're not meant to be these, 15, 20 minutes.
They want you to put more coins in the machine.
Yeah.
So then Street 1, Street 2, very similar, just different levels of street fighting. You could pick up weapons, you could jump off barrels and cars, throw them into cars. There's little tasers, there's barbed wire bats and crates that you could hit the guy with.
Every asset on these street matches are immaculate. Like, the perspective is pretty good. The van looks like a real van. Like, the pixel art detail in this is insane. It looks really good.
Very good, yeah. And then the deathmatch. I think that was our favorite game mode. It's back in the ring. It looks a little darker. There's not like the photographers, but the ropes are just electric.
Yeah.
You run into a rope yourself. You get thrown into a rope. You get body slammed into a rope.
You have two barbed wire bats.
You do the Doink the Clown WrestleMania animation where he's just like...
Yeah.
And your health goes way down.
Yeah, it's very... All right. So there was a point in one of the matches that we played where you were Roy Wilson and we were standing on one side of the ring and you picked me up for a body slam and you launched me across the ring. And I hit the ropes on the other side, was electrocuted, and then bounced back over to the other side of the ring for you to then pick me up and do it again.
Yep. Too bad that the game didn't count.
That's the death match in a nutshell.
Yeah. It was fun. I liked the the death match.
Yeah. All right. So what do you say we start going through talking about some of these wrestlers and maybe their real world inspirations or counterparts, however you want to talk about it.
Yeah, there's actually some bios here for the wrestlers. First up, we have Terry Rogers, who actually looked more like Lex Luger, but
yes,
Terry is the famous wrestler of the SWF. He is the top guy. He is cheered by male fans and loved by female fans. He is the rival to the Red Dragon. His gimmick is that he's just the all-American fan favorite, apparently inspired by Terry Funk. I just don't see that. This was Lex Luger through and through. What do you say?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, then there's Blues Hablam, who is a face gimmick of Blubberman, another character. He is a Mexican professional wrestler that brings a knife to his matches. Obviously inspired, looks exactly like Abdullah the Butcher.
Got the paint on the belly.
Yeah.
It's just...
Then there's Roy Wilson. He's a German professional wrestler known for his violent matches. He became a main eventer since joining the SWF, inspired by Bruiser Brody. Now, he looked like Bruiser Brody to me, but he was wearing like the classic Macho Man trunks.
Yeah, it looked like some... I mean, I'm sure there was numerous different ways that the wrestlers were inspired.
Then there's Leo Bradley. He is not inspired by a real wrestler, but he is the heel of the SWF, and his specialty are hardcore matches. This guy actually has a chain around his neck, and there was one point where you mounted me and just wrapped the chain around your fist and just wailed on me.
Mount may not be the best word there, John.
Side headlock? I don't know.
It's camel clutch with a chain.
Yeah, but you punched me with it, so.
Oh, no.
Shades of Cutie
okay.
Suzuki.
Okay, so there's two instances where I used the chain. One is there's a camel clutch with the chain, and then the other one, which is what you were talking about, which is just, I guess it's like a side mount.
Yeah. Thanks, George.
All right, fine.
Thanks for clarifying.
Fine.
The Red Dragon. The Red Dragon is a Japanese martial artist wrestler. He got involved in pro wrestling and created his own fighting style, mixing kung fu and pro wrestling. Since joining the SWF, he became a top face and begun a friendly rivalry with Terry Rogers. Now, there's nothing friendly about that rivalry. The Red Dragon, inspired greatly by the Great Muta.
Yeah.
Looks exactly like him.
100%.
Even with that classic 90s Japanese sprite hair.
I'll say, even has the great entrance.
Yes. Gochak Big Bomb. Big Bombardier tried to mask himself to become a face, but he wasn't very accepted. This is apparently inspired by a bushwhacker. I didn't see that at all.
I didn't see it at all.
Yeah. The Gandhara is an Indian professional wrestler currently employed by the SWF, and since joining the SWF, Gandhara became the reigning rookie champion. Now, you were him a couple times.
Yeah.
He had remnants of, I said Hercules from Disney.
I said he felt like Dalsim from Street Fighter.
But very, very cool character. He's the one that pulled off the Hurricane Ranas and the high-flying moves.
Yeah, Canadian Destroyer, all the good stuff.
Yes. Then there's the Blubberman. Mexican wrestler known as the Blubberman is a heel gimmick of Blues Hablam. He brings a knife to his matches, also inspired by Abdullah. So, a lot of these characters you'll see, there's a heel and a face version.
So here's my question. Because just reading through all of these now, heel brings a knife to his matches. The face also brings a knife to the match.
Yep.
Just, someone's going to have to explain that to me.
Hey, sometimes people like knives. Anyway, Master Barnes. He's just the heel SWF heavyweight champion, and he's inspired by the Road Warriors. And yeah, he looks exactly like Animal.
He's massive. Massive, man.
Massive. Yeah, probably the biggest guy in the game other than Roy Wilson. And Big Bombardier. The Big Bombardier is the heel persona of the masked Gojak Big Bomb. He is a Spanish wrestler that isn't liked by anyone because of his brutish mannerisms. And this, once again, inspired by the Bushwhackers. I would have honestly said these were inspired by no wrestler because they don't look like anyone.
there's, you know what, I gotta say, this was kind of nice to have like a little backstory to each of the wrestlers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we've seen that in a few of these arcade style games, especially when we first started researching this game, I said it reminded me a lot of Saturday Night Slam Masters, and even the backstory's kind of similar.
Yeah, it's cool to have a game that also I guess goes beyond just it being like an arcade game. It wants to provide you with like a little bit. Obviously, it's not like a full on, born in blah 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 and had to go through all these, not telling everyone's life story, but it's nice to have like a little bit of a backstory to them.
Yeah, I like it. It gives it, even though it's not there, it gives it something to, some sort of storyline, at least in your head.
Yeah. Well, I thank you very much for taking us through that wonderful roster. We didn't even have to argue about the roster this week. You just took it upon yourself.
I was ready. I was ready for it. I wanted to, present this to my people.
I thank you for doing
my
that.
listeners.
But you know what, John? You worked really hard. I think it's time. We take a little break. What do you say? It's time for a little R&R, ladies and gentlemen. We're going through those ratings and reviews. And you know what, John? If you would like, I will take us through them this week.
What?
I mean, you did such a good job reading the roster. I thought maybe I'd offer to help.
Okay. Okay, sure.
I mean, unless you want to
No. Go for it. Let's see how you do.
Okay.
This is your tryout.
So, Game FAQ user rating is 3.3 out of 5. The PlayStation Store rating is a 4 out of 5. The Xbox Store rating is a 2 out of 5.
It is not rated on the Switch Store.
And that's it. That's your ratings and reviews.
Hang on. The Game FAQ user rating, you said 3.3. To be even more precise and to make you even more mad, it is actually a 3.03 out of 5.
Game FAQ user rating 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
We can say that. That's fine.
No, leave all of that in.
How about now?
Leave all of this in.
Yeah, of course. Okay, how about now? Since you did such a lovely job with the ratings and reception, we go through some fast facts. 3-Count Bout is available to play online on websites such as arcadespot.com.
3-Count Bout was re-released for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Nintendo Switch on October 11th, 2018, and is still available for only $7.99.
This was one of 2 wrestling games to be released by SNK, the other being Big Bang Pro Wrestling in November of 2000 for the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
And those are your fast facts. And now, it's the moment that we wait for every week. It is time for our weekly tournament called Clash at the Feast. All right, John. So, 3-Count Bout. We played several matches. And then our Clash at the Feast video on YouTube, we actually recorded 3 matches, but only 1 counted. Just because this game was just so ridiculous. Just because the game modes are insane. So, we did a death match. We did a street fight, and we did the title match, and the title match was the one that counted, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because it had that better presentation, big fight feel.
So for the title match, I was Gandahara, and you were Roy Wilson.
My guy, Roy.
And, I mean...
There's no strategy to this game at all.
There's not. And Roy's moveset is pretty much just... So this is pretty much how the match went. Anytime Clash's character gets you in a hold, he throws you to the other side of the ring, and every move that my character had is essentially him flying to the other side of the ring. So this match lasted probably 3.5 minutes, and maybe 3 minutes of that were us trying to hit each other and just flying to the other side of the ring. It's pretty much...
And the finish came when George just pinned me, and I had more health, and that was the 3 count.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. There's no strategy. It's just button mash. It's an arcade game. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll take the loss. I'll gladly eat the loss.
There's no strategy, like John said, but it is different. This definitely felt like a King of Fighters or a Street Fighter-esque type of with that like Turtles in Time camera angle. Like this felt fun. It was fun to play.
Yeah.
But your winner for this week's Clash at the Feast is me, George Feast. I won.
All right, so with that, you're up 17-9.
Hey, I have a question.
Sure. What is it?
So we're going to be playing games for probably over 6 hours over these 2 days for our WrestleMania live stream. Do we want to have any Clash at the Feasts?
We can run. I think we could run a few back.
Yeah, you want to do like
maybe we'll do like a little best of 5 or something.
Yeah, and that's like an extra point.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'm in.
All right, but John, do you happen to know what time it is right now?
2:35. I don't know. Yeah, 2:35.
It's actually. I mean, yes, you're right. That's correct. But it's also. Just looking at my watch here, it's actually time to rate the games.
The game!
Ooh, baby. Okay. George, I'm going to ask you first.
All right.
Every week on this podcast, we play these games and then we rate them. Play it forever or future endeavor.
You're fired!
So, Georgie, how about it?
3 count bout. Arcade entertainment system. I'm gonna play it forever.
Woo!
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, this game was fun. I like the graphics, the presentation was nice. I think it's good. It's not, you buy it on the virtual console, it's nothing that's gonna break the bank. If you play it with your friends a couple of times, I think it's a good investment. I think it's something that's like a good, especially during these times. We need a button masher with a roommate, or maybe John and I will try to get our wives to play this. I mean, there's
okay.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. But hey, you know what? Yeah, that's my vote. I'm sticking with it. Play it forever, Johnny boy. How are you feeling about 3 count bout?
It was fun. I had fun playing it with you. To say it's going to hold my interest or to say I'm going to buy it now on like PlayStation or something, I honestly don't think I'll play this one.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Future Endeavor here.
You're fired!
It's been a while since we've been split.
Yeah, but I just don't see myself playing. It was fun. I like this game. I just don't think I'll ever touch it again.
Okay. I mean, that's understandable. It's a game that you're not future endeavoring it because the game is bad. You're future endeavoring.
You know what it is? I'm futuring endeavoring it because it did remind me so much of Saturday Night Slime Masters, and I think I'll just go play that instead.
That I agree with that. 100%. All right. Well, John, next week we're playing a pretty good game. So next week on the podcast, we are playing a very timely game. We are playing WWF WrestleMania. So this is not WrestleMania 2000. This is not the WrestleMania arcade game / in your house. This is WWF WrestleMania came out in 1991. And that is what we are playing next week on the podcast. I'm very excited.
Ooh, very timely. I'm ready.
All right, and with that, I think it's time we put a bow on it, John. What do you think?
Put a bow on it. Johnny's hungry.
All right, that's going to do it for us this week on the Game Marks Podcast. Please check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store at prowrestlingtees.com/GameMarksPod. It is currently the best way, besides listening, to support the podcast, and please follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. Leave us a review and a rating on Apple Podcast to also be entered to win that Cody Rhodes autograph 8x10. That's great. You should do that. And please subscribe to our podcast wherever great podcasts can be found. Everybody, be safe. Be cognizant of the people around you. And please, wash your damn hands. Thanks for hanging out with us this week, guys. Johnny, say goodbye.
Game over, Marks. Hey guys, Johnny here. While we love talking about video games and wrestling here on the podcast, we wanted to share with you a new offer from our friends at Stitcher. An enormous amount of shows and bonus episodes are available on Stitcher Premium, such as Office Ladies, Comedy Bang Bang, WTF with Mark Aaron, How Did This Get Made, Bitch Sesh, True Crime Garage, Marvel's Wolverine, and plenty more. Right now, you could sign up for Stitcher Premium for only $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year using our code GameMarksPodcast. That's all one word. Head on over to Stitcher.com/premium for this amazing deal and a free month. That's Stitcher.com/premium and use code GameMarksPodcast. That's all one word. Game on, Marks.